You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Greetings, everyone. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily, episode 1567. Today's tip is an excerpt from the Horses in the Morning show, featuring co-hosts Glenn and Jamie, along with Dr. Keener from the University of Kentucky, to chat about some new research on rider pain. And we'll get right to our tip after this from our sponsor.
Horse and Rider On Demand allows you to train smarter, not harder. Our training video collection, featuring some of the industry's top Western professionals like Bud Lyon, Cody Crow, Ryan Rushing, and more, can help you perfect your horsemanship and improve your performance in the arena. Get access to hundreds of videos and learn more about events like ranch horse versatility, reining, working cow horse, ranch riding, and more for just $14.99 a month. Watch anywhere, anytime. Horse and Rider On Demand can be streamed from any smart device. Visit ondemand.horseandrider.com to start your 7-day free trial. That's ondemand.horseandrider.com.
I'm pleased to welcome to the show Michaela and Lizzie. And Michaela has her PhD, and Lizzie is a PhD student at UK. Hello, ladies. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much for having us.
So we are going to talk about, as an equestrian myself, I would like to say that, I never have any pain. What would make you want to do a pain study on a rider? That's crazy. So I guess the first question is is it people like me that when they stand up, they won't pass a vet check, kind of like limping around? Is that what made you want to do a study on equestrian pain?
Well, I've been studying equestrians since my undergrad at the University of Duluth. I continued into my master's and then through my PhD, and now as an assistant professor, that's everything I focus on is the equestrian. And so from the research, we know that 52 to 56% of equestrians are experiencing some form of chronic pain. And that's why
all? I would have guessed
really
95%.
I think that's low.
Yeah, so that's what the research kind of says. And we see higher rates of, up to 82, 85% in certain areas like our professional dressage riders. But when we look at the general equestrian population, between 50 and 56% is really what we're seeing most of the research say.
Is eventers 125%? Is that?
Oh, possibly. They have so many acute injuries.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hush. So now you're giving a big number there, but like you said, dressage riders have a higher level of pain. Are these studies also kind of coinciding with the ages of the riders?
Yeah, so a recent literature review that's not quite yet published is suggesting that it's kind of mixed. They're seeing that some studies are saying it's the younger riders who are riding more. And then obviously we have these older populations that continue to ride, and the longevity of equestrian is a huge thing that I care about as an equestrian myself. And so other studies are saying it's these older populations as well. So it's kind of across the board. I think most equestrians probably experience some form of chronic pain across their participation in the sport.
Gotcha. Michaela, now, Dr. Keener, talk a little bit about your part in this.
So as I mentioned, my part is I bring the equestrian aspect. And so I come from the sports medicine background, purely research, but Lizzie is actually where the chronic pain stuff comes from. So I'll let her talk a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I said the wrong name. My bad. It's hard with two at the same time. Sorry.
No, really. Totally fine. So I am a certified athletic trainer. I work with people who are physically active and want to stay in their sport and continue high levels of physical activity. I started getting into pain research during my master's, quite honestly, because I had a chip on my shoulder about everyone saying that men tolerate pain better than women. So I wanted to investigate that one a little further.
I think that's the exact opposite, I would say.
You know what? I honestly got some research to kind of push that idea. But
nice.
Long story short, I'm very interested in how acute pain can transition to chronic, how we can rehabilitate that better so it doesn't happen. And also chronic pain is associated with higher rates of disability. And I think in the end, both Michaela and I want to help people stay doing the things that they enjoy and love for as long as possible. And so further looking into chronic pain in this population can give us some insight on that.
Are you coming up with nice like therapeutic ways, or is that the next study? Or do you have ideas of like, is PMF, we recommend massage, what chiropractic, or have you gotten there yet?
Yeah. So as I'm working on my dissertation, those are avenues I'm looking into, but I will say not quite right now. And especially there is very little research about equestrian athletes and pain and even how well they're getting taken care of, because we know that goes back to like what kind of resources they have to reach healthcare providers, and if healthcare providers understand the needs of equestrian athletes even. So we're figuring that stuff out first a little bit better, and then maybe, it'll turn into methods later.
So how do you need help with people? Do you need people to get involved?
Yes, we would
absolutely
love that.
Jamie's your first subject. You can just take every part of her body and it is pain. So
it's cool. I can't look to the left right now, but I can look straight ahead at this microphone and just go ahead and tell us where you need help.
So really, we're looking for any individual that's currently living in the U.S. and participating in equestrian activity. And that can be anyone 18 to 80 years old. So we kind of have that upper limit just because we know chronic pain increases later in life. But we know that equestrians continue to participate across the lifespan. So we're really asking anyone and everyone to do this survey so we can see a broad range of the people who are already experiencing chronic pain, people who have had an acute injury in the last 6 months, and how that might change over the next year. And then also the people who have not recently been injured or have not experienced an injury ever from riding, which I know that number is very little. Very little. I think my recent survey showed 4% of people had never had an injury from equestrian of about 2,000 people. And then people who are not experiencing chronic pain, we just need to have a general, continue to look at that number of the people who are currently already experiencing chronic pain, but also how, as Lizzie mentioned, getting that transition from an acute injury into chronic pain. And so the survey has you can do it a single time. It takes about 10 minutes, and we're just looking at a snapshot of recent injury, physical activity, if you're experiencing chronic pain currently, and then quality of life factors. And then at the end of the survey, you can agree or not agree to provide an email. And if you do, we never see those emails. They're blocked from us. But you would get an email at 3 months after, 6 months, and then a year or 9 months after. So we can kind of follow that person for a year and see how chronic pain or those acute injuries might transition from acute to chronic pain.
What are you hoping to learn in this study? I'm a little fuzzy on that.
Yeah.
Lizzie, do you want to take that?
I gotcha. We have a few different things we're looking at here. Not only do we want to see maybe how does physical activity levels change, risk of injury, but also how you recover from injury. There's some research of mine that's showing that higher levels of physical activity, like more time spent being physically active, is actually kind of a protective factor when it comes to developing chronic pain. We also just want to see what is the impact of chronic pain on equestrian athletes. Does this cause them to not be able to participate as much as they previously did? Or are they having more issues with the function? Are there things we need to be targeting in future studies? So also looking at health-related quality of life. How well are you living in your life? How are you being impacted potentially by your injury or chronic pain or not? And that's the other thing is we also need people who aren't injured or not experiencing pain. We really need quite literally anyone who is riding could be filling out this survey. We are looking that vast because we just don't have a ton of research.
So where can people find the survey?
So you can find it on our social media. So we're part of the Equestrian Athlete Initiative, or EQA, EQUA, as we like to call it. So you can find us on Instagram and Facebook, as well as I think TikTok now. I think one of my undergrads has started one for us.
Yeah,
and
get
so
with it.
it's EQA and then _ SRI, which is the Sports Medicine Research Institute that we work out of.
All right, I'll make sure I link that in the show notes too, so people can go take the study. I guarantee you Jamie will be. I know she'll be taking the study. You know, she might have to do it on the right side because she can't turn left right now. But
I'm happy to help, Glenn. I'm happy to lend my experiences to the youth of America in getting their PhDs. So
my wife needs to fill this one out. She's only broken every bone in her body at least once.
I know, she's the perfect one for
she's
this.
the candidate for this. Well, thank you. I will. I'm going to have her fill it out for sure. Thank you both for doing this. We really appreciate it. I'm glad somebody's studying. You know, it tends to be, you know, we talk to people from the University of Kentucky all the time, professors there and doctors there. They're doing all kinds of cool things, but it mostly involves the horses. So I'm glad to see that somebody's spending some time on the athletes too, on the human athletes. So appreciate that.
Well, we'll have to come back once we have results.
Definitely. Let us know when you have results. We'll have you back.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
And thank you so much for your time.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks.
Well, there you have it. Horse Radio Network has thousands of engaging podcasts for horse people, and you can have them sent right to your phone. Just subscribe via your favorite podcast player. This is Coach Jen, and I will be back again soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.